One of the most controversial topics in obturating root canals is overfills. Do we fear them? Are they okay? Do we love to see a puff of sealer? What's all this about? Why is there so much argument between specialists over this topic? My answer is the reason there's so much argument is because to this day most of us don't understand what causes overfills. And if we understand what causes overfills, then we can relate back to some of the previous research and gain a better understanding of what outcomes that we see are coincidental to what happened earlier and which outcomes are their own issue. Like when we overfill, was it cone fitting? Did we push too hard with a plugger? My statement is almost certainly you overfilled because you had a bad shape or you hurt the end of the root canal. If we have a preparation, let's say we're going to do the stop preparation. If we have a preparation that is mistaken in length and we fit an O2 cone in here, it's got very little taper, without a stop, without this big, intentional ledge there at the end of the root canal, without this, what's going to hold our cone in place? Nothing. It's going to sail out the end of the root canal even if we use a spreader. That's not the worst news. The worst news is, what if it's a curved canal and here's the canal originally, and as we blow through here, we don't go straight out the end of the root canal, okay? As we cut larger and larger files to lengthen here, they want to go straighter, and so almost certainly what we end up with is an ellipticized terminus that nobody could fill, okay? So when we see overfills and failure associated with it, it's easy to understand how our predecessors mistakenly thought that this surplus filling material was the cause of the failure because they saw that so often. What they didn't understand is in the era of the stop preparation, which most of the research done prior to 1980 was used, if we're doing the stop preparation, which is an intentional ledge, you could not overfill regardless of what you did in the obturation. If you overfill a stop preparation, I would say that by definition, the preparation didn't work out. Okay, by definition, the preparation didn't work out. And if this is going on, if you have an overfill and a lesion, an infective lesion afterwards, Herb Schilder would have called this, it was so ideal, he called it overextended but not overfilled, okay? It's grossly underfilled, in fact. This whole part of the root canal cannot be sealed, and that's where the bacteria are exiting from to cause a persistent lesion. So we need to understand that our filling materials are relatively biocompatible. Those in and of themselves will not cause a failure. We like to have our fillings end up just dead on length, maybe a little tiny cute puff of sealer. That proves that we had control. We had a good taper behind the apical terminus. It's further proof that the case is probably going to work out. Surplus after that point, after we have the canal sealed, hermetically sealed up, surplus is maybe a little less aesthetic on occasion, depending on how much of it is, but it will not by itself cause a failure.